Welcome today for joining me on what I call my mini cast. And today's episode, we'll dive into the scripture passages from Isaiah 51 verses 1 through 6, Romans 11 verses 33 through Romans 12 verse 8, and Matthew 16 verses 13 through 20. Now you're thinking, that's a lot of scripture reading, but it all gels together. These verses hold deep meaning and provide valuable insights into our faith's journey. In Isaiah 51 verses 1 through 6, we see how the Lord brings comfort to Zion. Even in the desolate places, He transforms the wilderness into a beautiful garden, filled with joy, gladness, thanksgiving, and songs of praise. This passage reminds us that no matter how desolate our circumstances may seem, God's comforting presence can turn our lives into something beautiful. Moving on to Romans 11 verses 33 through chapter 12 verse 8, we are reminded of the incomprehensible depth of God's wisdom, knowledge, and riches. Paul encourages us to present our bodies as a holy sacrifice, allowing our minds to be transformed. By surrendering ourselves to God, we can experience His transformative power and align our lives with His divine purpose. Lastly, we delve into Matthew chapter 16, verse 13 through 20, where Jesus asks His disciples, who people say He is. Big question, isn't it? Peter, speaking on behalf of the disciples, declares Jesus as the Christ, the Son of the living God. This confession holds great significance as it forms the foundation of our faith. Jesus assures Peter that upon his confession, or this confession, he will build his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Moreover, Jesus entrusts Peter with the keys to the kingdom of heaven, empowering him to bind and loose things on earth. Reflecting on these passages, we understand that our confession of Jesus as the Messiah is crucial. It is through this confession that we become part of the foundation of the church. It requires both our hearts and lips to align, as our confession is a testimony of our faith. Denying or ignoring the truth of who Jesus is denies the essence of Christianity. Jesus' words to Peter about receiving the keys to heaven brings us hope. We don't need to search for release from sin elsewhere. The words of Jesus are the key to the kingdom. By clinging to His words, our denials are washed away and forgiven. Through this confession, we are blessed and brought closer to God's presence. As we conclude this episode, let us ponder the words of Jesus to Peter. Blessed are you. These words remind us of the blessings we receive when we confess and acknowledge Jesus as the Christ, the Son of the living God. May this confession guide our thoughts, words, and actions as we strive to live according to Christ's teaching. And as a final note, confessing Jesus as the Messiah is not only a statement of truth, but also a transformative act that shapes our entire faith journey. It is through this confession that we find true blessings and the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Thank you for joining us today. We hope the podcast episode has inspired and encouraged you in our spiritual walk. Stay tuned for more insightful discussions in our future episodes. Until then, may God's love and grace be with you always. I think the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said it best. And he said, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Folks, I must confess that I think the first step is your confession. Confession opens the doorway to the stairs of heaven. To deny who He is to slam the door shut. We don't want to do that. Have a blessed day.